All right, a lot around. Let's get some analysis now from Sky News Political Editor Andrew Clennell. He joins me now from Sydney. Let's start with net zero, if I can, Andrew. What are you hearing about where negotiations are up to?
Well, I'm hearing that by Sunday the Nats will agree to it, Peter, and that they're not actually asking for cash, they're asking for safeguards for agriculture jobs and the like. So, whatever they are. So it looks like a deal's going to happen, but you'll still hear people like Matt Canavan, Keith Pitt protest about it as time goes on. Now, early in discussions, I had heard a medium-term target was on the table for 2030, 2035. We'll just be receiving, when the PM makes this announcement, projections for where emissions reduction will be at by then. And Barnaby Joyce has made it clear they won't cop a short-term target. So I heard your intro, and I think it's a very good point that what we're being promised here is something that is really off into the never-never. And the two major policies the government has at the moment come into effect 2040 in the case of the nuclear subs, and 2050 in the case of a net zero target, with Scott Morrison saying it's not a linear progression to that, so no change to the 2030 target. So I do wonder what the government's offering in the next term of government, but you could also ask the same of the opposition, who haven't come up with many policies at all. What we're looking at is, as I say, 30 years from now.
I guess the Prime Minister would argue, I mean, it's 2, perhaps even 3 elections between now and 2030, so the current target should stand. I think that's where the political turf will be next year, between Labor, which will likely have a 2030 target, the Coalition, which is not moving theirs, and then it's neutral ground. I guess it's neutralised at least in 2050, although I do make a point again, they could cost it in Britain, they can add nuclear in Britain and in France. We've got neither nuclear and no costing. I think I smell a rat there. Anthony Albanese told his caucus, we're told today, be ready. Scott Morrison might call an election for December 7. Now, I think that's laughable, but that's what he told his troops. He thinks that when the Prime Minister comes back from Glasgow, it's all on. What do you think about that?
I agree with you that it's laughable, and I think it's a ploy by Anthony Albanese. He wants to start the talk around election timing that assists him to get one in March rather than May. And I think he just wants to keep the troops on their toes, making sure they're in their seats campaigning. I don't think Anthony Albanese, in his heart of hearts, truly thinks there'll be an election in December. My understanding is the Labor Party expects the election in March. Some speculation Josh Frydenberg will want another budget before an election in May, but March is starting to firm at this point, Peter.